name is Mike Figueroa. I'm a associate professor of music at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and a friend of Leyya's, who is a great admirer of the work she does, as well as the work that Lime Rickey International does, which you've just experienced. And I'm here to guide us through a brief discussion about what's just transpired and many things behind and beyond it as well. So thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Mike.
And this is, you haven't met her yet, this is Leyya Tawil.
I'm Leyya.
Who is is related to Lime
Distant
Rickey.
cousin.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just coming down, just arriving.
Yes.
I'm late to the party.
Yes, thanks for finally making it here.
Yeah, I know. I heard something happened.
So we just
explain the popcorn.
Oh yes, we wanted to. We typically when we gather over food. So Leyya thought it would be appropriate for us to open a bag of popcorn. I'll try to eat into the mic though.
I thought, yeah, we'll try not to crunch into the mic, but I can't talk to Michael without eating. That's what we do. We eat, we drink, we talk. So I thought this would make it easier to get somewhere. We should like ASMR.
Yeah. You want to hear the popcorn?
Yeah, you wanna get in on this? All right.
I can talk now. I'm here.
There we
It's
go.
a little like transition thing.
Okay.
All right.
I'm with you.
So, I guess the first question I'd like to ask is about Lime's birth.
Oh, okay.
Tell us about her and how she came about.
Okay, so Lime Rickey International is a refugee from the future. She's shipwrecked here in time, not in place necessarily, or not in place at all. She's here in time with you, with us. And she spends her time singing and yearning for her homeland that doesn't exist yet because it's in the future. So the songs she sings are songs that she remembers from the future, and the dances are dances that are in her body that she brought with her in time. And there's a bit of searching for frequency in what she does, sort of like radio play, where you try to find the frequency that comes in clear so she can remember or communicate into a place that's not here yet, into a time that's not here yet.
Yeah, so if we can extend the radio play, and play is a key word here, I think, because often, if you remember, many people remember cars with a dial to tune in, and tuning in is right, I think the phrase you used. Sometimes you're between stations, and getting more than one simultaneously. Sometimes you add a layer of additional sonic interest with static, with mistuning. And I wonder, and there's play in that, right? Many people can remember the affordance of the physical, the analog dial, and homing in on the frequency, but maybe being next to it and thinking about that as a kind of a play. And I'm just curious if you could maybe talk about what kinds of mistuning in might transpire in the course of a performance for Lime.
Yeah. So in the act of building a sonic structure, so I'm going to speak as Leyya, right? In the act of building a sonic structure for a particular song that's saying a particular thing, I'm looking for the right amount of legibility and the right amount of obscurity that hits the mark as far as like the song is. So sometimes the song is, I feel like when the songs are a bit more strong, that the words can be more legible, like just as a way, or when I feel like if the vibe is like a little more like in the distortion realm and in the fuzz and in the like the big realm, that provides its own obscurity, so I can be a little more legible with the words. But then there's like more vulnerable songs content-wise that I feel shy about. And I feel like for Lime, they are like her tender songs that she doesn't, they're like the songs that she sings to herself versus the songs that she cries out to be heard. And so those have a different frequency. So sometimes I get those things confused in real time. Like, I forgot how I wanted to do this, or like, Leyya forgot how she wanted to do this. Lime doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Pardon me. And so I'm literally just playing, trying to find the right frequency of the vibe of Lime and her mood at the time. And is this for her, or is this for to be broadcast? And so some of that is like, oh, that's no. And some of that's like, oh, yeah, okay, that might be the layer that, you know. So she's doing that in real time, too, in terms of like character. She's doing that depending on if the song is for her or for someone or something, a memory.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about memory a little bit. So you mentioned that Lime is marooned here, and trying to tune in to call home.
Yeah.
And I'd like us to think about what that home is in a little bit. But in terms of the actual memory part, even though she can't maybe remember or find the frequency, she remembers many things, songs being one of them. How has she carried these songs into our timeline, into our temporality? How does she remember them?
Oh, that's a really great question. Some of the songs are complete. They're like folk songs. And they actually are folk songs. Like I sing like a remix of this very popular revolutionary song called Wain al Melayin. So I basically translate it into English and then riff off of it. Wain al Melayin is Where Are the Millions? Where Are the Millions? And it was a revolutionary song, and it's a real song. So like that just, that is actually like a memory from a future and a real and actually a real past too. But how does she remember the other things? She's more like telling. She's like describing both like the homeland that doesn't exist yet, or like the homeland in time, or she's mourning being here. Like mourning, like there's a mourning song. Because she remembers something about how she got here or something, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know how she remembers the songs. Basically, that was me saying I don't know. She just does. She just remembers them. I don't know.
Well, that was a very eloquent unknowing.
Thank you.
So, what does her homeland sound like?
Oh yeah. So I imagine it in the stars. So this is a whole other song called Najum, and it's the stars, and she just basically tries to explain to you that she's from the stars, and which is like a very obvious like future stars, whatever. But I do have a lot of like, you know how what are they called? Constellations are based off of myths. So like we name like Orion. Well, Orion in like, he had a different name once. Like he was called the shepherd, and then he was called the warrior, and now he's called Orion. And so like I like that sort of like this thing that changes names and the thing that changes it, like being, actually. It's the same star constellation, but a shepherd is a really different thing than a warrior. Sometimes it's the same. But that being said, I'm losing the plot.
What does your homeland sound like?
Oh, it's noisy. It sounds like it sounds like this. So like the homeland sounds like noise. And I think when Lime was born, I was trying to start singing because it started by, as a way of weeping. So singing and weeping to me are pretty similar. But instead of weeping, I wanted to, it just started singing just came out. While weeping, it turned into singing. So I was like, maybe I should sing something. But that clarity of like weeping and singing are the same. It's sort of like tone and untone, and like tune and untune are kind of the same. They're like, and just like almost like Leyya and Lime in a way. It's like there's a clear thing happening, and then there's like you have to get through the noise to see it, or you have to get through the noise, or you have to be in the noise to be part of it. And so she's trying to be like the noise is comforting because it reminds her of home. So I guess home is noisy.
Yeah. And of course, what many of us might, noise is a matter of opinion. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of categorization, and what may sound like noise to someone, noise being something maybe unintelligible or abject, undesirable, might be beautiful, as this noise was to others. You mentioned Leyya and Lime, and in the beginning you sort of joked that they're distant cousins, and of course in Arab culture we use cousin to denote all kinds of different socialities and relationships. They could be actually related by blood. They could just be a close friend. They could be a new friend.
It's true.
So I wonder if you could maybe clarify how, it doesn't have to be, of course, in familial terms, but it might be, how Leyya and Lime are related, and or how they relate to one another, one being an adjective, right, related, one being a verb, relate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in the beginning, I wanted to keep them very separate. I started my journey through expressing myself, shall we say, as a choreographer, dancer, and this was a little bit in that clip of that interview that Stephen posted. It was like I had been surrounded by musicians doing music, and I was the dance maker. And so when I started making my own sound, I wanted to cloak it as not me in a way, just so I can like do my experiments, not have pressure being like Leyya's doing something, because I felt like Leyya had her own persona. So I was like, Lime's got this. I got this, Lime. So this like, this genesis of Lime and like why she needed to sing, what the noise was, but also like pulling something out of me that I didn't want to expose as me. So I feel like she's sort of like, as a distant cousin or as a very, very close cousin, she can express things in a very, to me, clear way. Like, this is very clear what I just did to me. That I don't have to, I feel like the Leyya version of myself doesn't have that same capacity. So she's like a deeper version of myself in a way.
She makes noise. I mean, she has a noisy existence and a very kinetic one. And I wonder if you could, if you would be willing to share with us, what drives Lime to dance? Because during the performance, there were really striking moments when she decided to leave, to move temporarily away from her devices, her tuning in devices, and move her body. Mm-hmm. And what I wonder if you could describe those moments that inspired movement.
Yeah. Well, two things. She knows she has to move when she's found a certain thing sonically that moves her. It's just in the same way that, people want to dance when they hear a song that they like, in a way. Like in the crassest way, she's like, I want to dance to that. Also, she does a lot of Debki. So Debki is a Palestinian folk dance, or dance from the Levant region, so Syrian, Lebanese, Palestinian folk dance. So that's in her body, because that's in my body, so I can't really replace my nervous system altogether. So I feel like, okay, so she does these distorted, fuzzy, delayed Debkis, this Debki material that is also put through the filters of distance, the filters of diaspora, right? So it's like the songs. It's like what she brings are these old songs, these old dances from the future, and they are filtered through all this stuff in order to find it here. So in the same way she's trying to tune in here into the voice parts and the noise parts and the I'm singing the song, I'm playing you our songs. She's trying to dance so that people can remember. You dance to remember. You dance to feel the space in a way. Because like I said, she's from time, and so sometimes you need to move to feel time, too. I try not to get very spatial, whereas Leyya, when she choreographs, is super spatial. Really, really boom, boom. I know it's very things. I'll tell you something funny, is that I don't rehearse as Lime. I do things as Leyya, and so when so I have all these choreographies, but then when Lime does them, she doesn't do them until she's performing, and they're completely different. So I'm like, whoa, this is fun. It's literally Lime's body does these things that Leyya has in her nervous system or something. It's super funny. I can really detach from Leyya when I'm her. It's kind of scary, but I've been doing it long enough that I'm not crazy.
Just pulling out a couple of things that you've mentioned so far. Talked about Lime having these future folk songs, mm-hmm. and her future homeland archived in her body, right? The body she brought to us through time. Leyya has Palestine through song, right? Through Debki, archived in her body. Yeah. Where, how can you just sort of started to get at sort of the porousness between Leyya and Lime, and their archives. And I wonder if you could talk just a little bit more, maybe as a way of bringing things together and letting us dig back into the popcorn as people go about their evenings. So by way of closing, I suppose, ask you to describe the moments of transfer, of transference, transferal between those two, the archive in Leyya's body and the archive in Lime's body. Do they ever? Is there ever convergence? And where and when does that happen?
Yeah, this is difficult because I haven't been able to sing the songs or rehearse at all, or like dance or sing or do anything for months. And so like these songs, this is actually lyrics. These songs were written, some of the lyrics are these songs were written for the children when they were here. So like there's this like lullaby that I can't sing. So I almost left the stage to sing it. Like I can't sing it. And I put it in the song, I can't sing it without crying. And that's not very Lime-like. That's definitely like I hear the words like almost in a disembodied way, and the words make me cry even though I'm singing them and I can't, like it becomes like clearly a convergence of like these songs were written in a certain state, and it's like everything's a little too real. Even though she isn't here in time, she should be like impervious. And I'm not impervious, so that's where it gets a little messy lately. So I haven't really been performing for that reason, but ultimately it's better to keep going.
We're lucky to have Lime helping you, drag you out to the stage, whether you're singing or crying or doing both at the same time.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think I'm going to go ahead and appoint myself to be able to speak for everyone in this space, to thank you for sharing yourself, sharing herself with us, and sharing your thoughts about both of those wonderful people. So thanks so much.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen, and Al-Bustan, and all of the Rotunda crew, and all of you for being here. Thanks for going on the place with us.
Free Palestine.